Ladies and gentlemen, please notice that exits are conveniently located at the front and rear of this auditorium. When leaving the theater, we suggest that the exit at the front of the auditorium will allow you easier access to the parking areas. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Mike Butler.
And I'm Mike Field. Happy Halloween! Wait.
And welcome to Forgotten Cinema Lead Up. Each episode, we highlight a film from a popular series and follow it all the way up to the most recent release. We'll discuss what we love about the movie or maybe don't love about it, but we'll always recommend you revisit it, even the not so good ones. Let's get into it. The final one. It's been a long road, but we got
a long road. I had to end it with this. Yeah, as you can see, the set behind me is decorated for Halloween because Mike and I are in the middle of our Forgotten Horror series, recording wise, for the main show. So I figured I'd light the pumpkin. But yes, Mike is right. We are at the end. We did it, Butler. We did it. We got to watch all the Alien films.
This was far more daunting than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, the Ripley Saga, as we dubbed it, which was the first four, I guess. Yeah, I guess the first four, and then we took a detour, kind of a tangent into the AVP territory with Alien vs Predator and your favorite Alien vs Predator Requiem as I wipe whatever this fuzzy thing is on my face. Yeah, right. Okay. And then we are now finishing up the Prometheus, I don't know, Duopolis of films, the Alien Covenant film that's supposed to be it is the direct sequel to Prometheus. That is our new one. Mike, how are you?
Almost relieved. I mean, I've got a few more to edit, but I'm relieved. We got to the end.
Me a little.
Yeah, you know. Oh, you want? Oh, yeah. I mean, no. I'll finish off strong. Listen, my ship got hit by some neutrinos, which in reality hit us all the time and don't affect us in real life, which
neutrino
disabled
burst.
my ship somehow. Yeah, a little neutrino burst. My James Franco husband got burned in a fire, and now he's as dead as his career. And then we decided, hey, I know we've got 2,000 people on board, but let's the five of us who are awake decide for these 2,000 people to go to this planet we didn't actually survey or scan correctly, land down there with no precaution or quarantine, and just start exploring, and then eventually all get killed for our hubris.
Yes, that's Alien Covenant. All right, let's. I got a lot of thoughts. But let's get into the facts so we can get into those thoughts, because I'm gonna really try to be nice here. So I'm trying to be nice with this one. I don't want to be a meanie like Butler. Alien Covenant has a runtime of 122 minutes. Rated R. Production budget of anywhere between $97 million to $111 million, depending upon who you talk to or where you read it. Release date was Friday, May 19th, 2017.
Hey, my birthday!
Hey, happy birthday, Mike. You were 30.
30.
Remember 30? It's long gone.
I came in on my 30th birthday morning just to watch this movie.
And that's where it all went downhill from there. Opening weekend, it was 36 million. Domestic, 74 million. An international total of 167 million for a worldwide total of $241 million. Production companies were 20th Century Fox, TSG Entertainment, Brandywine Productions, who have been with us throughout the entirety of the series, and Scott Free Productions. And it was distributed, as always, like 20th Century Fox, which will change, obviously, when we do the now showing with Romulus. So I said it came out on the 19th. It went up the week prior, the 12th of May, and a wide release with King Arthur, Legend of the Sword. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, Butler, but they have retitled this movie, correct? Wasn't it just called King Arthur when it was in the theaters? This is the Guy Ritchie movie.
I'm pretty sure. They probably retitled it to not get it confused with the Clive Owen one.
Okay, so yeah, I saw that and I was like, that was not the name of the movie when it was in the theater. But anyways, you also had a wide release of Snatched. That is the what's her name? What is her name? I'm blanking. Yeah, the comedian who had the talk show, Amy. Oh my God, I am so old. I feel old.
It's a comedian. Oh, Amy Schumer.
Yes. Why am I so old? I also had a limited release of The Wall and Paris Can Wait. On the 19th, the day that this movie came out, you had a wide release of Diary of a Wimpy Kid, The Long Haul. As my son said, I don't like that movie. And Everything. The 25th, which is the Wednesday after this film, on a wide release, you had the Baywatch, the Zac Efron, Dwayne Johnson film. And then I take it back. That was a Thursday. Then the Friday, the 26th, you had a wide release of Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Man, Tell No Tales, which I wonder if that's why Baywatch went up the day for some unknown reason.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah.
Too many water movies.
Yeah. This film returns Ridley Scott from Prometheus and Alien. Nominated for 4 Oscars. We've gone through them before, but if you didn't listen to any of those episodes, Thelma and Louise, Gladiator, Black Hawk Down, and The Martian. This has multiple story and screenplay credits. Story credit for Jack Paglin, who's done Transcendence, and he is currently working on the untitled Maze Runner reboot, which I did not realize that needed to be rebooted, but it is. Another story credit for Michael Green, who has nominated for an Oscar for writing Logan and Green Lantern and Blade Runner 2049. Screenplay by John Logan and Dante Harper. I think Logan was the last one to do a touch-up on the screenplay, so let's do him last. So Harper has done script revisions only on The Last Witch Hunter, and amongst other things, he really didn't have any big-time credits. And Logan has been nominated for 3 Oscars: Gladiator, The Aviator, and Hugo. Cinematographer was Darius Wolski, who obviously was with us with Prometheus, nominated for News of the World. He's also done Napoleon, Crimson Tide. Composer was Jed Kurzo, who's done The Babadook, Slow West, and more recently, Monkey Man. Edited by Pietro Scalia. I think he was in Prometheus as well. He has won 2 Oscars, JFK and Black Hawk Down, and he was nominated for Gladiator and Good Will Hunting. Produced by Mark Huffman, Michael Schaefer, and Ridley Scott. But Huffman and Schaefer have both produced The Martian, which they were nominated for Best Pictures. Huffman has done The Northman, and Schaefer was an executive producer on Ad Astra, which I actually think we should put on our main list. Ridley Scott has done Death of the Nile and Concussion. All right. This film returns, technically it returns 2 people from the original, from Prometheus.
Yeah.
I'll count Guy Pearce. I'm not going to count Noomi Rapace because she's only in that's not even her. So, okay. So Michael Fassbender as David/Walter is playing 2 synthetic robots in this. Nominated for 2 Oscars, Steve Jobs and 12 Years a Slave. And he's also Magneto in the X-Men First Class film and the subsequent sequels. Catherine Waterston as Daniels from the Fantastic Beasts series, Inherent Vice, and she's actually shooting now the 4th Fear Street film, Fear Street Prom Queen. I don't know if you've seen the Fear Street films. I think you should.
No, you told me I should watch them, but I have not watched them yet.
You actually, they're a perfect summer film, and there's 3 of them. I think you'll really like them, so I really recommend you watching those. So, anyways, she's doing the 4th one. Billy Crudup.
She's also in Logan's Lucky, which we did on the show.
Catherine Waterston.
Yeah.
What part?
She's the vet tech that kind of flirts on with Channing Tatum's character.
She's also Sam Waterston's daughter, and I love Law and Order, so I'll always bring that up. But anyways, Billy Crudup as Orem, but they keep calling him Chris throughout the film, so I don't know why we just gave him his title or his role as Orem from Almost Famous, Watchmen, and the TV show The Morning Show. I think he's nominated for an Emmy for that. Danny McBride as Tennessee from Tropic Thunder and the TV shows Eastbound and Down and The Righteous Gemstones, another one I recommend. Damian Bashir as Lope, nominated for an Oscar for A Better Life. He's also in The Hateful Eight and the TV show Weeds. Carmen Ejogo as Kareen. She's in Selma, Purge Anarchy, and the TV show Your Honor. Jesse Smollett as Rix. I'm laughing because I think we all know where his career is. TV show Empire. He was also in The Mighty Ducks Butler. He was one of the kids in The Mighty Ducks.
Oh, was he?
Yeah. Callie Hernandez as Upworth from Shotgun Wedding and La La Land. Amy Seymour as Ferris from Upstream Color, the 2019 film Pet Sematary, and the TV show The Girlfriend Experience. And then Nathaniel Dean as Hallett from Candy and Somersault. And like Mike said, James Franco's in there for a hot second. This is when Franco was doing everything, saying yes to anything and everything. Like, wasn't this during that time where he would be a small role here? He was on Another World or one of the soaps. Which at the time I was like, that's pretty cool. But as I was watching this film, I'm just like, why? Just like, why? There's why?
I mean, I think it's cool. I mean, we'll get into it, but
no, I don't think it's cool.
I mean, now you watch and it's kind of like, oof. But yeah.
I had, I guess I think the episode we talked in Prometheus, you talked about how you didn't remember any of this film and you wondered how you still felt. Give me your first thoughts. Let's go from there, and then I'll get into it because I've got a lot of notes, viewing notes mostly.
So it's not that I didn't remember a lot of this film. I remembered certain points and I remembered like the base story. I just remembered that I did not like it when I first saw it. I did not like that they basically did not learn their lesson from Aliens, or Alien 3 rather, and did exactly what, no, not exactly, but kind of sort of did what they did in Alien 3, which is kill off your two characters in your new kill off a major character in your franchise for the sequel for no reason. So I was not a fan of it, and I still have my issues with it, which we'll get into. But I will say this is probably the third time, because my Blu-ray was open. So clearly I've watched this 3 times. I just don't remember, or one other time at home. But I actually did like this a little bit better this time than I did the subsequent watches before. I think that's probably because I knew what my issues were going to be, and I don't think they're as glaring as they are with like Alien Requiem, which is just a piss poor film, or Alien 3, where I don't think they were quite as, the issues I have with this film aren't quite as egregious as my issues with Alien 3, where they were just like so maddening. But that's not to say that this film is perfect. It's definitely no Prometheus. I don't have that love for this that I did with Prometheus.
My biggest thing is, and of all the films that we watched in this lead up series, I mean, with I really don't want to count Alien AVPs. I'll say this with AVP. So I'll say this. I'll say 2 things. One, I really didn't care about any of the humans in this film. I had no connection with them. And I'm talking about the characters. I just didn't. Nothing affected me like where I really cared about whether they live or die, or like I was like, oh my God, what's going to happen, compared to any of the other films that we have done in this series. Even like Alien 3. With Alien vs. Predator Requiem, I will say that at least the characters were interesting. Like they were different. Like these characters are all the same. And I didn't like I remembered, I knew Billy Crudup was in this film, his character of Orem, or Chris as they keep calling him. And then when Franco, his character dies because he gets caught in the sleep pod and he burns up. And then Orem's the boss. And then we first meet him. And then, we see that he stinks as a captain.
Oh yeah.
I was like, oh, that's right. I don't like his character in this. And it's not even like I grew to like him. Like he became somebody who grew into his role. He just was a really terrible leader and just kind of made decisions. And I know that they're decisions for plot purposes, but they get saddled to the character. I just did not care about anybody in this film. I liked obviously Danny McBride as Tennessee was good. I know this was I know when this film came out, this kind of like, it surprised everyone because McBride's done strictly comedy.
I remember people being mad he was in it, but yeah, he is good in this. Yeah.
I equate him with just like, you could have put like the character of Tennessee, you could have put him in The Abyss with the guys down in the tanker, the James Cameron film, and he would have fit right in. Like that's the kind of it felt right. He felt like he fit there. Like everybody else just was like, I just didn't care. I didn't care what happened to them. What do you feel about that? What do you feel about the characters? We can talk about all of them. If you'd like.
I like Tennessee. You're right. Tennessee is very good. He's very down to earth. He's an everyman. I was surprised after this came out, and after he did what I thought was a very good first Halloween reboot with the first one with Jamie Lee Curtis. Like I thought that was really good. I was surprised it wasn't like, oh, Danny McBride knows things other than comedy, and it didn't get him other stuff. Like obviously Righteous Gemstone everybody likes. I still have to watch it. I really like Vice Principals, and I think you do as well. Like sure, he's very funny. He's very good in comedy, but I think he should have gone off and done a couple more dramatic things as well. Catherine Waterston's character is all right, but you don't get to know her. And I feel like that's part of the runtime as well. They try to deal with so much with a short runtime of just 2 hours. And I feel like that's possibly a mandate Ridley Scott was given to be able to do this film. Make it more aliens, cut down the time. Don't be as, thoughtful. Thoughtful is not the right word, but I'm going to use it right now so I don't just think the whole time. Billy Crudup's character sucks. He makes the stupidest decisions. And it's like at the beginning, you almost get this kind of like faith versus science kind of, they don't like me because of my faith. And it's like, we did that shtick in the last one. Don't do that again. And it's not because of your faith. It barely comes. You're just a terrible leader.
Well,
you just kind of stink. Yeah, he just goes, shepherd's got to go with his flock.
It comes up with David and Walter and all that conversation. That's where a lot of philosophy and religion comes from in the movie. And having Orm say that, if you're not having him not connected to anything that David and Walter are saying, makes no sense to have him act like that.
Right.
You talked about Daniels, which is Catherine Waterston's character. We know zero about Daniels, except that she was married, he died, and now she's going to build a cabin. That's all we know about her, and that she's in charge of the cargo bay. That's it. So I'm sorry, but like, we knew more about Elizabeth Shaw in Prometheus. Well, obviously know more about Ripley. We know about Sanaa Lathan in Alien vs. Predator. Let's not count Ripley. But we know these characters. Like,
well, you're right. Even Requiem, you know more about the three of the brothers. At least you know all of their back. You know more about
the mother that comes home from the army and that she wants to connect to her daughter. Like, you do nothing here with Daniels except her husband dies and she's sad. But that's more than you know about anybody else other than Walter and Michael, Walter and David, because you don't even know. Like, you named these actors and the names of their characters, but if you weren't looking up on IMDb, be damned if I remembered anybody else's name other than Tennessee and Daniels. And I feel like once they land, it's like, okay, we're just waiting for these people to die. And this movie is two things for me. We're just waiting for all these people to die, and David and Walter are having philosophical discussions. Like, that's what the movie is. And it's like, those are two different films, and together it's really uninteresting. Like, I didn't care. It's not like a meh. It's just, you're not making me care. You know what I mean? Like, I'm watching this movie and I cannot connect with it.
So you did not like this film?
No.
Okay.
It's not that I didn't like it. I just don't know really. Like, it's okay. We find out that what happens to, like, you know, I don't know. Like, dude, like, cause I don't like the fact that we had to explain how the xenomorphs became. David created them. David made the eggs, and David did all this. I know you talked about that already. I don't like that. I don't like that this movie explains all that. Why do we need to know where the xenomorphs come from? I don't understand why that's a question that needs to be answered. Why introduce the engineers? Why talk about how you wanted to do Prometheus? You wanted to introduce the engineers and how they make us, and you were fascinated by that. So the second film in, you wipe them away from existence.
Kill them all. Yep.
I don't understand why put so much energy and effort into wanting to tell us about the engineers only to get rid of them in the second movie. I don't get that.
I really feel like a lot of that studio interference, and I really feel like a lot of that is people who didn't like Prometheus, and this is Ridley Scott going, well, then screw you. I won't do it then. You want a stupid alien film? Here you go. And it's just like a childish reaction from both parties about audiences' reactions. Just tell your story. Just tell your story. A lot of people went to see Prometheus and liked it.
That's what I'm saying. I think you can objectively look at Prometheus and be like, I may not understand it. I may not dig it completely, but it's a really well put together film. I mean, we talk about Prometheus and it'll lead up about certain characters that we're kind of like tough to struggle with. But those are like nitpicks compared to this film when I'm talking about these characters. Like you said, like Daniels, Tennessee, like
Walter,
and just give Franco a bigger part. There's no reason. Just kill somebody we don't know. I don't get it.
I'm cool with killing off Franco because at the beginning you're just like, oh, they'll kill off Franco. Like, it's a neat little trick, I guess. I didn't mind it.
But here's the thing, Butler. You didn't know it was Franco until they show him in the pod, and I forgot he was in the film, and my first reaction is, it's Franco? And he's blown
and then he burns. Yeah. We talk about Prometheus, and a lot of people talk about Prometheus, and all they think of is that stupid snake scene, which is dumb that they do what they do. It's not super stupid, but it's kind of dumb.
It just
This movie, every person on this crew does the dumbest thing that they can. Tennessee brings his ship within distance of the storm when there's 2,000 other people whose lives are in danger because of what you did, let alone however many embryos they have on board. I'm not even counting them because they're just embryos. you have the people go down on this planet without
I wanna
testing
go
the water, without scanning.
Hold up.
What's that?
I want to go back to the Tennessee thing. I'm gonna just to kind of go on.
Okay, yeah.
You talk about how the threshold is, what is it, 800 meters, and he's like, I get it that he wants to do it because he you know, I think he wants to save everybody, whatever it is.
He thinks his wife's still alive, so he wants to make sure he's safe.
Okay, fine. But then you do it and you go below it, and there's no threat to the ship. Nothing happens. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there is like nothing happens.
Well, that's the minimal safe distance.
No,
he gets right to the edge.
400. No, he goes below it after. He's like, go to 400. He goes into it so that they
to drop the cargo ship. Yeah.
But like, there's nothing but the big ship, there's no threat to the big ship when they do that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they're Jesse Smollett's character and the other girl who they have the gratuitous sex scene at the end so that we can just kill them together.
Right.
You know, like, they're not struggling to keep the ship together. There's no consequence to him doing it. So there's like, so what was the threat anyways? Why would I be worried about that? Go on, continue. I'm sorry.
So he does that stupid action. They go to this planet. It's not surveyed. They have these ecology specialists, all this stuff. They probably vetted this other planet they're supposed to go to for years. And they're just going to go on this planet. They land on water, which you don't know what's in that water, what kind of bacteria. You're walking on plants. You don't know what's in there. All these samples, like, there's no scanning on this planet. And you go down, no spacesuits. You don't have any protections. You're going to bring a sick person in, and they flippantly mention quarantine procedures. And she's like, just let him in. And it's like, are you kidding me? He's clearly sick. He steps on something where you can clearly see the pollen. The other guy goes, what's this thing, guys? And pokes it. It's like they all do such flippant, terrible things on this planet. It's just like you all just are waiting to die. It's like taking that snake guy and elevating it by 1,000. Yes, the snake guy was like, ooh, fascinated by the snake and was a little at least taken aback. But all these characters are so flippant about everything they touch and activate and do, including Billy Cudrup's character. It's like, is this egg safe, David? You know, David was partly responsible for that alien beheading your crew member, and you just called him the devil. He's leading you to a basement, and you're going to believe David who goes, oh, don't worry, these eggs are safe.
No.
Are you freaking kidding me?
There's the crew, the exploration crew is dumb for plot purpose sake, so things can happen. And that's a disconnect right there between me and them. Like I talked about before, like, they're just, like Butler says, like, you know, he comes, they like, there's no way that if you're planning a mission that's a 7-year mission or whatever, how long the mission is that they're in, and they got 7 years to go, even though you had an accident, that's why you have this crew gets woken up when there's an accident. There's no way that you're going to make a decision mid-mission to stop and just check out this planet. We didn't know. You would no. There's no. I'm sorry, but there's no way you would do that because you've planned for the planet you're going to. You go, okay, you know what? We didn't know about this. Let's send this in. Let's get this information back to, like, Butler. If they stopped and said, listen, why don't we just hold its orbit for a bit? Let's take some sample readings from the sky. Let's get some data, and we'll send that back, and we'll continue on. And then during that time, they get a distress call from someone down there, and they investigate. Yep. Okay, fine. I'll believe that. But you're not going to just stop your mission and be like, no, we're going to travel. We're going to land here. And so, okay, that's your decision. Okay, fine. You want me to believe that this is, oh my God, this is so much more viable. You didn't happen to know that there was going to be a month-long ionosphere storm that's going to, like, prevent you from talking to the Covenant while you're down below? Come on. I mean,
also, when you're doing your initial scans, you didn't see the giant city down there.
Yeah. I mean, you can ask me to suspend my disbelief to a point, but part of that agreement with the suspension of disbelief is I'm buying the fact that you're smart people. Like, I'm buying the fact that the decisions you make in this movie as characters are not determined by this is what the plot is telling us, but these are what the decisions the characters would make. And I'm sorry, I don't buy that. These decisions that these characters are making are just so that these cool things can happen or we can get to the end. And I'm sorry, but, like, once or twice, okay. But when it's like a lot and it's like 8 to 10 really just bad decisions for the sake of plot movement, I can't sit here. I can't not say anything. It gets really just, come on. Yep. I mean, I hate coming down on films because I don't like doing that because I know it's a very tough thing to do. And I appreciate everything that these people do. This is a big miss for me. This is a big swing and miss. And maybe it's studio interference, like you say. Maybe it's executives putting their hands in. Maybe it's Ridley Scott being like, I just want to make the movie. I'll just make it however they want me to make it. I don't know. I have no idea. But like whatever they did and however it happened just does not work for me at all.
So yeah, it just feels like compromise. The whole thing feels like compromise after compromise after compromise. You know, let Ridley Scott do his vision. He's made billions for you. Let the man work. Let the man cook. He wanted to do 3 films.
Oh,
or a possible 4th as a prequel.
Yeah, when I read that the 3rd film was going to be, what was it going to be called? Alien Awakening, and it got delayed because of the merger with Disney. They're never going to go back and do this movie.
No, they killed it.
Yeah,
but like, and this kills it too because you're trying to. You can have this movie, but then inject this into it, and then inject that into it. It's like you can't. Like Fox throughout this entire lead-up series, after Aliens, has just interfered with the creative process to the point where they make something like this. And like I said, this is me not as down on it as I was before. And I think we should get a little positive after this kind of browbeating of the movie because it does have some decent stuff.
Well, give me a decent thing.
So much.
And I want to shoot it down. No, I'm just kidding.
I still like David. And I like Walter, although Walter's name should have been Eric or something like that. Totally deviated from android names.
Do you see why? No. See,
is there a reason? I didn't see that note.
So David is the 4th android, 4th letter of the alphabet. Walter is David's alter ego, and he's the 4th letter from the end of the alphabet, and that is why he is Walter.
Oh, I like that now. Okay. Oh, there's a note. Why didn't I see that? Okay.
That's all right. That's why I'm here.
So I got
news for you. That's like, there's not a lot of notes because a lot of the notes say the same thing over and over again. And a lot of the notes are this. Maybe
that's why I didn't get it because I got tired of reading
in this film because it was from. It also happened in Aliens, and this thing is from this, and this is from a famous. But it's like, guys, this is not facts. These are not good facts. But go ahead.
But yeah, I think David's shtick is good. I think you get a bigger feel for what David is trying to do, what his mission is. It helps put David into a better perspective if you go back and watch Prometheus. So I like that stuff. I think technically the David Walter scenes together are very technically impressive, especially the flute scene. I like the way Michael Fassbender presents both David and Walter as 2 different people, although his American accent is very forced.
It's not just American. It's got like a twinge of like Texan or something, right? Like it's got like
it sounds kind of like Christian Bale trying to do an American accent. But more
I think he was going for I have no issue with Fassbender in this film. He's
fantastic.
If you just took the only issue I have is the idea that he invented the xenomorphs. But everything else is fine. Yeah, go ahead.
I do like that. You know, some of the action happens pretty much right away, even though the humans are a little too stupid in causing it. I like Tennessee's wife freaking out, and in her freak out, leaving Billy Cudrup's Oren's wife in there with the guy, and he's freaking out, and he births the alien. You know, I like that proto-xenomorph scene.
I don't like that she decides to go hug him as if like she did, she's like when he's like no flipping choice, out and like she's shit. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, why are you hugging him? He's clearly got something going on there.
Yeah, but I like that. I like that the thing just keeps attacking. Like that scene's cool. I like when the alien attacks in the grass and it tail whips that guy's jaw off. Like some of the action happening earlier on helps build momentum, helps build interest when you don't care about the characters. It's like, all right, good, just kill him then. So I like that. It's still shot very well. I still really like the cinematography. So that's some of the stuff I enjoyed in terms of that stuff. I think the alien doesn't look good. I don't think you should just do CGI alien all the time, but the white alien, the proto-xenomorph looks good. And at some parts was a guy in the suit, which I enjoyed.
The neomorph?
Neomorph, that's right. That's what they call him.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, like, they seemed like a lot of the aliens were, I know that there was a dude in the suit, but on the whole, it was a lot of CG, right? A lot of CGI alien stuff.
Yeah, the xenomorph especially. I don't know if I saw the xenomorph as anything more than
Well, let me ask you this question, and this is probably more of an alien in its totality question. like with Prometheus and then to this film, we saw kind of the evolution of the xenomorph or the protomorph or all that stuff of the neomorph, like different variations. And then ultimately, but we're saying that why after the xenomorph comes out of Orem, well, it doesn't look like obviously the original in the first.
Oh, it just looks like you took like a Photoshop version of the alien and shrunk the sides down.
And then just starts doing this like Ted starts doing this Silence of the Lambs thing with his hands out.
Following his quote unquote father.
Yeah. But like my question is to you is how come then we've just stopped? There has been no more evolution of the xenomorph. I mean, obviously those movies came before this film, but like, I'm curious, like, wouldn't you think that the evolutionary xenomorph would continue and we would get a different alien instead of just the same? Okay, we're done. There's the same with little variations because it depends upon who the host is.
Well, I think that David is no longer tweaking it anymore. That doesn't help. And he's perfected the face hugger. And as David said, he created the perfect organism. So I think that's why you don't see an evolution, because you're supposed to believe that the xenomorph is the perfect version of whatever it is. That is, death personified. It's now the perfect organism.
And I wonder if Alien Awakening was going to take place on the planet they were going to.
You still have to explain how he gets all those eggs onto another engineer ship on LV 426.
Right.
So probably.
Yeah. You have a lot of explaining to do.
Yeah. I want to know why the engineers in this movie look so much more human and different than the engineers in Prometheus.
Well,
I'm looking at when he's dropping the bomb, like, that's not what the engineers, unless they evolved, because the engineer that we meet is so old from the first one.
Well, they're all gone now.
Yeah, and they all must have really wanted humans to be killed, because when that ship's returning, they're all like, hell yeah! And there's like a million people there cheering that ship. It's like, damn, you guys hated us that much?
Well, I don't know if they knew where they were going. Who knows? Who cares? I
figured that's the ship that was supposed to kill humanity. So it was coming back, and they were like, finally, those pesky aliens.
All right. So you like the cinematography. You liked how it looked. You enjoyed David. I'm just kind of reiterating. You enjoyed David and Walters. They're back and forth.
We can go back into problems with it if you want.
No. I mean, because I was
just trying to bring a little bit of positivity.
Okay, yeah, because that's what you always do.
Well, it's not. Like I said, I have a lot of problems with this film, but it's not Alien Requiem bad. There's just not great.
Well, this Alien Requiem, that timeline doesn't count anymore, obviously. What about the fact that we got a xenomorph POV in this film? Like, why now? Why do we need to know? Well, why do we need to know that now?
We got one in Alien 3 as well. As it's climbing the walls.
That was more of like just the camera angle. It wasn't really like.
Oh, because they didn't put shtick in front, like stuff in front of it. So I don't think they could have back then. Well, that's kind of like in a horror film when someone's in the kitchen and you like the camera starts moving towards them. Like that's supposed to be the person. That's not really a POV. That's just somebody. You know what I mean? That's just the movie. Well, sometimes like in the first Halloween movie, you get the Halloween like Michael Myers. You see through the kid's mask and you see the eye holes. I like that. I thought it was good.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm a fan of like the games and stuff. So when you play as the alien in the games, you get that. So I'm like, Alien POV. I enjoyed it. I don't know.
That makes it all much better. Do you think that this film was hurt by the fact that Damon Lindelof chose not to work on it?
I think so, because he's the guy that helped create this story. I think it's very much maybe a concept of that's why a lot of the new Star Wars trilogy didn't work. A lot of the blame has always been put on the fact that they just had all three writers go their own way for this trilogy, and I don't think you should do that.
That was a mistake.
Yeah, Ridley Scott's a storyteller, but he's not necessarily a writer. So it helps to be partnered with the same person creating the story, going from one to the other to the other.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, Lindelof supposedly said no, he didn't want to do it, so. It was his choice. Did you see the short prologue films that they had for the before the movie that they did?
I saw that they did them, but I don't remember if I saw them. I assume I did. but I don't remember.
One's called The Last Supper. It's the Covenant crew having a last meal before they enter cryosleep. I'm sure Franco's in that. You have The Crossing, which is you find out what happened to Elizabeth Shaw. Unless we should probably talk about her a little bit. And then we had Meet Walter, which was a fictional ad for the Walter series of androids. So those are the
I think I did see that.
Logs. Okay. So let's talk about what they did to Elizabeth Shaw. We didn't like it in Alien 3. And it's not even that she died. It's that she's horribly
vivisected and
and you
not even that, she's got all this growth on her and stuff. So she died
horribly. Yeah, exactly. Like how do you feel about that? You feel the same way you felt Alien 3?
Yeah, I mean, I like Elizabeth Shaw. I really, like I said, I decided I loved Prometheus. I said, I really do. So like, I don't care about Elizabeth Shaw maybe as much as I do Ripley and Newt and Hicks, but it's still like you enjoy this character. You're rooting for Shaw. She went through hell in Prometheus, and her reward is
this
saving David and then getting vivisected. And after she's mutated and forced to birth what looked in the sketches to be multiple monsters. Yeah. It's a terrible death. And the fact that she doesn't get any, for all her trouble, she doesn't get any real screen time. She just becomes this mock-up of a person on a table, like not fermented, like formaldehyde, just corpse on a table as part of his zoo anatomy kind of a thing.
Yeah, I think because at the end of this film, Daniels is being put in the sleep pod, and then she realizes that it's not Walter, it's David. When she goes, help me build that cabin, and he just stares at her. Now, let me ask you this question, and I'll get to my original point. Do you think he purposely doesn't say anything so she can figure out that it's not? Okay.
Yeah, because she's asleep. It's too late. Yeah. Because he's an excellent liar. He's very smart. He thinks for himself. He could absolutely have just gone, sure, yeah, I'll build that cabin. But instead, he just, don't let the bed bug. Like he knows, and they're dead.
So my original point was like, can anyone catch a break in this series? Can anybody have a happy ending? Not even Ripley gets a happy ending. Like, can anybody have a happy ending in this movie at all?
The guy who gets away from the alien in Alien 3 got away and apparently wrote a book, even though we don't hear about it.
Which guy?
The surviving prisoner who goes away screaming.
Oh, right. Yeah. Well, he's still a prisoner though, but yeah. Okay. I mean, he's the only one.
Call lives.
Call and the Ripley clone live. But they're on like a desolate Earth, apparently.
That's only in that alternate version. The theatrical Earth is beautiful.
That's true. Okay.
And Ron Perlman and Wheelchair Man live.
Okay, so Alien Resurrection's got to go.
Too many people lived in
That's why you don't like it.
But yeah, no one can catch a break in the Alien movies.
Yeah, seriously.
I like and I don't like. I think it's important to every once in a while in your horror franchise to have your final girl or guy or person. You need that survivor. Not right, especially because it's exhausting when you have a franchise and every time everybody dies. It's just kind of like
you can't.
Somebody needs to live. Yeah.
So are we saying that what happened to Shaw between Prometheus and this film is worse than what happened to Hicks and Newt between Aliens and Alien 3?
Oh yeah. Okay. I imagine Shaw was awake for all of hers. I imagine, at least for the first birth of whatever it was. Right. Hicks and Newt went in their sleep.
Did you know that they wrote a book that is a prequel to Covenant called Alien Covenant Origins? Do you know this?
I read the note, but I did not.
Did you read did you read what it was about?
No, I did not.
I will tell you. All right. So the Covenant's preparing for launch. And they're choosing the final members, but there's a series of like violent events that there's a conspiracy to sabotage the launch, but they don't know who it is. So the threat reaches Yutani, the head of because Weyland Yutani has just merged. His daughter's kidnapped, and so Branson, which is James Franco's character, and Daniels, his wife, are preparing the ship. Lope, the security chief, who's played by Damien Bichir in this, they try to stop the saboteurs before anyone else is killed, and the ship is destroyed from orbit. So they're like, the three of them are like involved in this like whodunit thing. So I mean, like that sounds like a better movie than this.
That sounds like a bit too much backstory.
Well, it's a prequel book. It's a book that was, I guess they were going to write a book that was going to be a sequel, but then they just did a prequel. So
I don't know. I don't know if I need that much of a hero backstory for my colonists that can't make smart decisions even when they're on the planets.
Let me get to a couple reviews, and then we'll maybe. I mean, because I don't really know.
Have thoughts on the whole series.
Yeah, because I don't really know. There's not much more we can go here with Covenant, because it's just kind of like I said my piece, and I'm just kind of like, now I'm exhausted from saying that piece. Peter Bradshaw from The Guardian said that, gave this 3 out of 5 stars, said that Alien Covenant is, quote, a greatest hits compilation of the other Alien films' freaky moments. I mean,
that's not necessarily a good thing, but okay.
There's stuff in here that Ridley Scott couldn't do that he wanted to do in, whether it was Prometheus or Alien, which is the sex scene where the alien comes in and kills them during the sex scene, which, you know what I mean? Okay. I guess he wanted to do that. I don't know. Trace Thurman,
I feel like that fits more in the Alien movie than it does in this. Like, does it make you hot and heavy that 7 of your friends, 7 of the people you were supposed to live the rest of your life with got murdered? Let's go have some steamy hot shower sex.
That scene felt like it should have been in the AVP franchise. Like, that felt like that kind of film. Like you know what I mean? Like C.
I agree.
Here C. Kind of film.
In Requiem, because Requiem is much more like a slasher type vibe. That would have worked much better there.
Trace Thurman from Bloody Disgusting said, quote, this is a film that was made as a response to Prometheus critics, but tries to appease fans of that film as well, and it doesn't fully work. So they're saying what you're saying.
Yep. 100%.
Okay. All right. So let's talk about the entire series before we get into Romulus. We kind of like tease that a little bit. We haven't seen it yet, obviously. I'm going to ask you to rank them.
That's fine.
So, I mean, I know that we separated them all in terms of different, but I want you to rank all 7 or 8, all 8 of these films. Mind you,
okay.
I have not ranked them. I'm just asking you now. So go ahead.
Well, you're gonna rank them after me then. So get ready.
As you're ranking them, I'm going to rank them. So as you're talking, I'm writing them out.
Okay. Well, obviously, it goes Aliens for me. Alien. They're very Aliens. Alien. Then Prometheus are all pretty close. Aliens and Alien have a lead over Prometheus. Then it would go Resurrection 3. No. Then it would go Alien vs. Predator. Alien 3. Covenant. And then Requiem. So, like way far down.
Okay. So you're saying that. Did I even write all 4? I did. No, I didn't. What were the 4 again? Alien. Aliens,
Alien 3, Resurrection, AVP, Requiem, Prometheus, Covenant.
So you're saying that there is Alien, and Prometheus are 1, 2, 3, but they're super tight.
Let's call them top tier. Yeah.
Okay. And then there's a gap to Resurrection, and then AVP, Alien 3, and then Requiem, and then there's a huge gap to Covenant. So you liked Requiem?
No.
Covenant,
there's Covenant, and then a huge gap to Requiem. Yeah.
I think I have the same order: Aliens, Alien, Prometheus, Resurrection, AVP, Alien 3, Covenant, and Requiem. I think I flip flop a couple. Definitely Covenant and Requiem are definitely down below.
Wait, did you have Requiem Covenant?
No, I have Covenant Requiem.
Covenant Requiem. Okay, yeah.
I
think you have the same order. They just are different on the scale, maybe.
You have Alien 3. No, wait a minute. No, I'm sorry. You have AVP over Alien 3. I have Alien 3 over AVP.
Okay.
Yeah. I just can't with Alien 3. I just feel, I don't know. It just feels like more of a film than AVP. AVP feels just kind of like content. Does that make sense to you? Than Alien 3 feeling like a film. That's kind of like how I'm saying it. I know that.
I get that.
Before. Yeah.
That feels more like kind of your vibe with these movies.
Is AVP a fun time? Okay, sure. But like,
I think that's why I'm over it with Alien 3, because, I'd rather have a fun time than be frustrated. Alien 3 looks good and has good moments, but is such a frustrating watch that's why it's below AVP for me. If I go AVP from the start, I know what I'm getting. Like within the first couple scenes, it's like, all right, this is almost like a video game movie, but it's fun. The suits are real. I think that the sets are kind of interesting, even though the set is also kind of, the concept is stupid. At least the set's cool. And I get what I paid for. I get my Alien vs. Predator. Whereas Alien 3, I'm paying to watch the continuation of Aliens, and I'm getting Fox and a bunch of writers fighting over what that means.
My biggest surprise is that there's such a gap for me between Prometheus and Covenant. Like I don't like the sequel at all.
Yep.
Because it just doesn't. I mean, it just doesn't. It doesn't feel like a Prometheus sequel, even though it is. It feels like a standalone Alien film, I couldn't get into it. And obviously we just talked about it for like 40 minutes.
Does it feel almost like when you're watching a TV show on like NBC, and all of a sudden like the Law and Order guys appear on like Scrubs or something for no reason, and it's like the character, like David's almost like shoehorned into this Alien movie. Special guest star David the android from Prometheus.
Like Fassbender did like a week's worth of work and was like, all right, I'm out, go ahead, have your fun with your Alien film, like maybe that kind of thing. It just, and I'm shocked because I know I'm a big Ridley Scott guy and I like Ridley Scott's films. I just, not all of them, I mean, but like I don't know, maybe you're right, maybe there was a lot of interference with this film. I just don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm just kind of looking for something that's not there. I've been known to be wrong before. I just did not connect with that film or this film whatsoever.
I mean, I've always known, but like watching them so close together, a big shock for me is just the quality gap in terms of all of them. Like the Alien franchise, other than like media outside of the Alien and Aliens franchise, the toys, the models, the video games, the first two movies are what keeps Alien alive as a franchise. As much as I love Prometheus, because I know a lot of people don't, and it is kind of separate. Like Alien and Aliens, these movies that are Alien is over 40 and Aliens is approaching 40. Like that's what hangs on everything. And I, as much as I'm excited for Romulus, and even if Romulus is great, I think that's just going to still be the case.
My fear with Romulus, and we could kind of go into that a little bit. My fear with Romulus is that and this could change in terms of if I watch it again down the road, but I feel like it's going to be rife with callbacks to the other films. And while that's cool, and who doesn't enjoy callbacks? We've watched 6 films that have had callbacks to the Alien and Aliens film.
Yeah.
So it's like you can't keep doing it because it's not like they do. We talk about in the trailer, they copy the shot from Alien 3 in the trailer with the face, and they've already done that in Requiem. So it's like, I've seen this. I don't need to, and that's such an iconic shot. They've got her in a
Ripley suit with the plasma rifle as well.
It's such an iconic shot. You don't need to recreate it. I mean, like, I don't like if I go paint the Mona Lisa, like it's an affront to the Mona Lisa. Like, please stop. Like, so I don't make it. And that's my only fear, that it's going to be a lot of that stuff. And it's going to be like counting on people going like, oh, look, that's from that movie. Oh, this is great. And it's like that. I think that takes away from the film. Make your own memories.
I agree. I also understand. I don't think producers realize that nobody wanted Covenant the way Covenant was. If you're going to go Prometheus, go all in and let people discover this new branch of the story. I think that callbacks, it depends on how callbacks are. Because here's the thing. Fede Alvarez did the Evil Dead remake, which we did on the main show. Check it out if you haven't. And I really like that. It's different, obviously, than the other Evil Dead films. But I think it works as its own thing. And it's got callbacks as well. So it depends on... And I know he's even said in interviews, he purposely put callbacks in this to the first two Aliens.
Of course.
Because they're what everybody likes. And I get that. So I think it depends. obviously the commercials really focus on that, but it's what
it shows a lot.
What do you do in the film that puts your own touches on it? And the fact that he's doing a lot of practicals really works for me. Cause like we just said with Covenant, all CGI alien xenomorph sucks. And I think we talked about it with AVP as well, and Alien 3, where it was the worst. It takes away from the horror if it's not real. It needs to be tactile and slimy and like way too close to another human being. Same with the facehuggers. They need to be like just invasive. It's body horror. That's what makes the Alien franchise work.
Listen, I mean, when we watch it in a couple weeks or a week, I mean, I think first reaction, I may be into it. I may dig it, but like that may change if I watch it again, like 8 months later, because you have time to step back from it. We live in a time where a lot of movies have a lot of callbacks to a lot of the stuff that we watched growing up, and that's all we see all the time. And eventually,
Stranger Things.
Yeah, when you talk about superhero fatigue, when we talk about Marvel a lot, I mean, I think there's a fatigue for constantly seeing reminders of look backs to films. Like you have Avengers Endgame is a really good film, but Avengers Endgame's main plot determines the fact that if you watch Back to the Future, like stuff like that, like like how they do the explanation of the time travel. I just think that there's a fatigue there and so like when I watch an indie film and you're like, you really like that film? And it's like, it's not that I just like the indie film, that it's like, I haven't seen it before. So it's like, it's something that it's different and it's weird and it's new. And it's like, yeah, I kind of like it because it's different. And because it's not like constantly referencing my childhood. I like that stuff, but I don't need it in every single film. And that's my biggest concern with Romulus, is that there's going to be a lot of it. And I may love it when we watch it opening night, and then 8 months from later, I might tell you, Mike, I don't like this part. But like that goes both ways. It go like Man of Steel we talked about before. Like wasn't a huge fan of Man of Steel guy when we first watched it, but like I see it on now. I'm just like, I really like this film. I'm into it. So that goes both ways.
Well, I mean, my ranking for Covenant was pretty much where I thought it would be, but I did like it a lot more this watch than how I thought about it my first watch or two, I guess. Like sitting on it and watching it again, although I still don't like it, there's still a lot of issues. I went from thinking it was garbage to being like, it's a miss, but it's not like
I think it's a miss,
hot garbage like it was. Yeah. No, so you're right. Second watches. But like I gotta have faith in Fede Alvarez. He was handpicked by Ridley Scott. He said he screened it for Ridley Scott and he said it was good.
Ridley Scott at this point, Covenant.
That's also true. But like you said, Ridley Scott has made some great things. I mean, and like you said, I also don't love everything he's done. I don't like Robin Hood. You know, he's got some misses. But I think
which Robin Hood he did the one with
the Russell Crowe one.
You know what's funny is I don't think I've ever seen that one. But that's fine.
It's not worth watching.
I saw the one with Ben Mendelsohn before I saw the one with his face with Taryn.
The Guy Ritchie kind of wannabe one. Or was it Guy Ritchie?
I don't know, when they're not using arrows. When I find out there's no arrows in any of the scenes.
Yeah. Oh, with Taron Egerton as Robin Hood. That's right. I blanked that movie out.
These arrows color.
So yeah, I'm cautiously excited. Like you've reposted a bunch of stuff from Fede Alvarez that I liked.
Yeah.
You know, the actors who like, did you like Alien? Oh, I loved Prometheus and Covenant. It's just like, well, you're not getting hired.
Yeah.
Like that's a good note. The facehuggers being animatronic and showing them like skittering around.
Sure.
I gotta have hope. The fact that Elise was watching the trailer with me, and she's usually fine watching like horror movie trailers or horror movies, and she's like, oh no, all like the facehugger body stuff. I'm just like, yeah, okay, all right, this might work.
They just show a lot. They just show a lot in the trailers. Like
they do, but that's kind of trailers nowadays.
I know they show way too much. All right, so I guess we finished. We got through it. Thank God. Thank goodness. I don't want to do this again. So don't pick a long series.
I don't think
films.
I mean, other than like Star Wars, I can't think of like a. I mean, if we ended up doing all the Freddies, all the Freddies, all the Jasons,
horror franchise, that's where we would get like a multiple different films.
Critters lead up series.
How many critters are there? I think there's only 4 or 5. I don't think there's that many.
Yeah, there's not as many as aliens, I don't think.
Fun fact, I watched, I don't know which critters it was. I don't think it was the first one, it was the second one. I was forced to watch that at a sleepover party at this kid's house when I was like young. And like, we're going to watch critters. And I was like deathly afraid of it. I'm like, I don't want to watch this. I think I went home. I think I asked my parents to pick me up or something like that. But yeah, I was just like, oh, no, I wasn't ready for horror films. So young back then. Whichever one they turned into the big ball and they started chomping people. That's the one I saw.
Yeah, I think that's the first one.
The second one or the first one?
I thought that was the first one. I got to watch them again. I have them saved. They were on Hulu. I have them saved on my wish list.
Do you have to watch them again?
There, I got to watch.
You going to go back and watch Ghoulies?
I've never seen Ghoulies.
Oh. Woo. All right, we're going down a tangent. Okay, so yeah. So thank you for following along. We always thank our patrons for kind of like supporting us and being there and I don't know, just kind of like thank you for taking this journey. We apologize if you actually watched these films along with us. So, well, our bad. But yeah, so I guess next up would be the Now Showing episode, which we'll be doing. We usually watch the new film the Monday after it comes out because there's not that many people in the theater. So we kind of like, we don't want to talk to people. So we watch it then. And then we'll record it on the Tuesday after, and it comes out usually Wednesday or Thursday, whatever my schedule looks like that week. But as for,
I think it'll come out Thursday because I don't like to compete.
I don't like it either when it competes with our show on Wednesday.
So I think it'll come out the Thursday after.
Cool. So then you can book it that week. The week after Thursday will be out. All right. Mike, do you have anything else to add?
No, just same thing. Thank you, Patreon supporters. We got a lot of stuff coming up for you. We got all the Halloween episodes. And I think our next lead up series is going to be a simple one. It's just going to be Beetlejuice. Nice single movie.
And then that leads up obviously the Now Showing for Beetlejuice or Beetlejuice 2 as it's known as in some circles. And then Mike and I have to get together and discuss what we're going to do for if you watch the trailer, you watch the short film for Q4 we have to figure out what we want to do. So it's not going to be Butler pimping himself out if you haven't seen that just short film yet.
At least not for anything. It's going to be more than $50.
What's funny is my wife was like, why do you, Butler, I go, did you watch a short? And she's like, Butler, take his pants down. I go, no, that was me. She's like, what are you talking about? You don't recognize my shoes? So, yeah. So anyways, it worked. Nobody knew.
Nice.
Shot on iPhone. All right. So, thank you guys. We'll see you around. Have a great week. And, I don't know, whatever you want to say, Mike, however you want to end. Oh, I don't have my end.
You don't have a quote?
No, you know what? No. This is Mike and Mike signing off from the Alien Lead Up series, the last surviving members of Watching Alien Covenant. Yeah. See you later.